your haven. Liberty is for all who can breathe free. Oh, dreamer, teach us to see again. Oh, children, we wanna see again. Oh, what a beautiful world, what a beautiful world. Oh, what a beautiful world, what a beautiful world. We say land of liberty, pretend equality, let freedom reign, let freedom reign. Does the cost of security bankrupt our humanity? Let freedom reign, let freedom reign. Does love have an open door? Does love have an open door? Does love have an Does love have an open door? Does love have an open door? Welcome, stranger. Give us your tithe and pour. All those in need. Oh, dreamer, teach us to dream again. Oh, children, we wanna see again. Oh, what a beautiful world, what a beautiful world. Oh, what a beautiful world, what a beautiful world. Come every weary soul, find your haven. Liberty is for all who can breathe free. Oh, dreamer, teach us to see again. Oh, children, we wanna see again. Oh, what a beautiful world, what a beautiful world. Oh, what a beautiful world, what a beautiful world. We say land of liberty, pretend equality, let freedom reign, let freedom reign. Does the cost of security bankrupt our humanity? Let freedom reign, let freedom reign.
Good evening. Welcome to California Dreaming, Journeys to Belonging. I'm Vanessa Josie, and I work at the World Relief Sacramento office.
And I'm Eric Truitt-Reed, and I used to work at the World Relief Modesto office as a caseworker, and also did some immigration legal services work. Worked there for about 5 years.
Once you've been with World Relief, you are part of the family. And
Obviously.
Family forever. We are your hosts for this evening, and we're so glad you could join us for our first ever California-wide virtual storytelling event. Over 250 of you have registered. You're joining us live from all over the state and country. Shout out to our East Coast people joining us late, 10 p.m. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so World Relief has been serving refugees and immigrants in California for over 40 years. And tonight we're excited to come together as One World Relief California, because now more than ever, we want to connect and come together and just hear each other's stories, because that's what being a neighbor is all about.
So important. And so tonight, you're going to hear stories from each of our 3 California offices. And at any point during the evening, you can support your refugee and immigrant neighbors and the work of World Relief California. You'll see at the bottom of your screen 2 ways to give. You can either text belonging to 44321.
Super simple.
44321.
44321. That's
Easy peasy. Or you can visit the website wr.org/ca.
And so, yeah, we're also grateful to be joined by visual artist Sandra Whitehead. She's originally from El Paso, Texas, and she has lived all over the world, including the United Arab Emirates, where she taught art at an international school. In addition to being a painter, she's also a certified forensic artist, which is super dope. I think that's really cool that we actually use her art to find criminals. I mean, if you had to rely on my art, we'd live in a very different world, but that's not important. What's important is that she lives in Rockland with her husband and her 7 children, and she'll be creating a piece inspired by tonight's stories.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for all of you who give 100 or more during this event, you are automatically entered into a raffle to win Sandra's piece.
Yeah, we hope tonight you are inspired by stories of resilience and communities coming together. We are grateful to live in a state with incredible diversity and a rich legacy of welcome. California continues to lead the United States in welcoming refugees and immigrants.
Love that. Love our state. So yeah, before we get into our stories, we want to take a moment to thank our sponsors, community partners, and local leaders who help make our work possible. Thank you to Bayside Church for hosting us in this amazing space. And we wanted to share 2 quick messages from our community partners. First, from California Congressman Josh Harder, and then from our community partner, Sac Republic FC, who continue to come alongside us in welcoming our new neighbors and help them feel more at home in our wonderful state.
Thank you all for inviting me to say a few words today. And thank you all so much for all the work you do every day to help refugees and immigrants in California and across the world. In the Central Valley, refugees are central to who we are. Growing up in Turlock, my next door neighbor, Nana Bitpera, was a refugee and a Syrian from Iran who'd escaped in the 1960s. She was really instrumental in my childhood. She'd make me food after school. She watched me, take care of me. My life was changed for the better by having refugees coming into our community and helping support. And that's just one example of what we've seen across the Central Valley over our history. In the uncertain times that we're in right now, it is even more important to be supporting organizations like World Relief that are working to help everyone and anyone who needs a hand. Thank you all so much for what you're doing, and please let me know if there's anything that we could be doing to help. Thank you.
So we're here with World Relief Sacramento. This tournament means everything. There's few better representations of everything that we do at the Republic than this day. So it's unbelievable to see. We know this is the world's game. To have this as part of our city, such a diverse city, is truly unbelievable, and we're proud to be a part of it.
I feel the greatest pride in this partnership between World Relief and the Sac Republic. World Relief has resettled 30,000 people into the greater Sacramento region over the years. And those are 30,000 people and families who are contributing and who are forming the fabric of this inclusive community that we love.
So good. So cool.
Awesome. So grateful for our community partners. And now we're going to get to the stories. Our first one comes from my office in Sacramento. Our office has been serving refugees and immigrants since 1989.
Wow, that's the year before I was born. That's a really long time.
There you go. For over 30 years, longer than Eric has been alive, World Relief Sacramento has been coming alongside your new neighbors. So should we get to it?
Let's do it. Yeah, sounds great.
All right, let's turn things over to our Sacramento team.
Thank you, Eric and Vanessa. And I'm so glad you've joined us tonight for our first ever California-wide event. And I'm grateful that you are part of the World Relief family. It's been 40 years since the first World Relief office opened in California, and we've worked with you, our church and volunteer partners, ever since that time. And in that time, over 50,000 newly arrived refugees have come through our offices. And not only have we provided resettlement services, we provide other vital services, such as employment, housing assistance, English instruction, legal services, children and youth programs, and more. Helping our newest neighbors come to a place of stability and integration and ultimately belonging, well, that happens through our services and also arrival into a welcoming community where relational connections can be made. You make that possible. I started in the Sacramento office as a volunteer, eventually joining the staff, and I've had the honor for the last 2.5 years of serving as the director of the largest resettlement office in the nation. Tonight, you're going to hear some of those stories, and it's my pleasure to introduce our first, Zaki. Join me as we hear his story.
My name is Mohammad Zaki Farzam. I'm from Afghanistan, and I moved to US in December 2018. Recently, the situation of Afghanistan was getting very worse. I was working for the United Nations, and the way that I was going from my home to my office, if not every day or every other day, but every 5 days or every week, there was an explosion and another attack in my way to my office, which was very dangerous for me. And my wife was working for the Ministry of Information and Culture of Afghanistan, and her way was also very dangerous because she was in the middle of, in the capital. She was in her office, and there was an explosion and then an attack of insurgents on the building beside my wife's office. And she was pregnant that time, and she was very scared. I thought that this is not the place to live, so I decided to move. The good news is that when I first came here, I already had my apartment, so World Relief could get an apartment for me. After that, of course, there were some programs in World Relief that I was going there, and I was using from the programs. I learned how to get a job, and I learned how to get apply for housing. That right now I'm happy that I moved from that apartment to another better house, a better apartment. I think that without these things, without this guidance, it was very struggling life for me. I received a call from World Relief that World Relief is giving me a van. And when I came to at home and I spoke with my wife, we were very happy, and we all went together to World Relief, and we got the van, the car. It was that was the very happy day. My father is illiterate. He cannot read or write. But his only the hope or wish for us was that he was telling us to go to school. But what I remember from his heart that he was letting us going to school besides working. And even he was sometimes stopped me working, but he was telling me to go to school. But me that I'm a bachelor, I have my bachelor degree, and I'm living right now in the land of opportunities. I want my son to study and get his doctorate degree from US. I support him as I received support from my father. I support him till the end of my life for his education and to be a good person in the society, to serve society.
Wow, thanks Zaki for that inspiring story. Hi everyone, my name is Becca Gonim and I oversee our employment program at World Relief Sacramento. Finding a job is difficult, even in the most ideal situations. So imagine being new to the country and finding work with no family, few connections, and just starting to build your new life in general. Our employment team helps newly arrived refugees like Zaki find their first job in the US. Our program helps individuals on their journey to self-sufficiency. Our team works one-on-one with individuals and meets them where they are in their journey, whether that's helping build resumes and LinkedIn profiles, helping with interview skills, or even transportation to that first day of work. I remember when Zaki first started in our employment program. He was always a joy to work with, and being able to see him through that first day in our employment classes to that first day of work at McKesson was so inspiring. Through our car donation program, Zaki and his family were able to receive a vehicle. That meant that Zaki could drive himself to work and start to explore Sacramento with his family. Our employment program is crucial for your new neighbors like Zaki on their journeys to belonging. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Chris Reese. I am the distribution center leader for the McKesson Med-Surg facility here in Roseville, California. We, about 2 years ago, started talking with and working with World Relief and presented to them some of the opportunities we have for employment for the folks that are involved with the World Relief program. One of the first things that we did when the relationship was created between McKesson here locally and World Relief was I took the opportunity to go and visit the World Relief Center here in Sacramento. We've had a hire here locally, Zaki Farzam, who's joined our team, who's done a tremendous job, and we are always looking for opportunities to continue to bring on individuals. I think one of the positives that we have in our relationship with the clients that could potentially come to work here is that we will offer that long term. We don't want to just have this be a flash in the pan or just something to add to the resume. Zaki's been a great example of that, in that this is his first job since moving into the area, and has been steadily employed with us, and again is doing a fantastic job. We're very pleased to have him here and look forward to the opportunity to hopefully have more individuals, clients, come to apply for roles that we have open here at McKesson, and again melding their skills, their experiences from wherever they may have gained that experience in their past and putting that to work for us, because we think it's a real win-win for both sides.
Wow, so good, so good. Thank you so much, Sacramento, for sharing your story with us.
So inspiring.
Yep,
and a reminder, or if you've just joined us, if you donate more than $100 during the evening, you have a chance to make Sandra's beautiful piece she is creating inspired by the event. Already donated over $25,000. Help us reach our goal of $75,000.
So good, so good. Yeah, so our second story actually comes from my old stomping grounds out in World Relief Modesto.
And as you said, you were a caseworker,
right?
But working at a nonprofit, what does that mean?
I mean, you and I both know that working at World Relief titles are more of a formality, that everyone just does what needs to be done when it needs to be done. So, yeah, I mean, casework meant a lot of different things, especially in Modesto, where our office was fairly small. At a given time, we could have as many as 7 on our team to sometimes as little as 3. And so that meant that you got to wear a lot of hats and you got to jump in when needed, for sure.
Okay, yeah, so small team, 3 people to 7 people. And how many clients are you serving?
When I was there, depending on the year, it could be anywhere between 250 to 450, depending on the year, which is absolutely as impossible as it sounds. So we wouldn't have been able to do it without an entire group effort, a team of people in the community, be it church, partnerships, volunteers, so many people working together to make the dream a reality. So absolutely grateful for all of those folks who are involved.
Takes a village.
For sure.
Well, I think you should introduce our second story then.
I think so. Well, coming to you from World Relief Modesto, here is our next story. Enjoy.
Thank you, Vanessa and Eric. And good evening. I'm Daly Perry. I'm the director of the Modesto office. And tonight I have the honor of introducing you to Assad Omer. Assad and his family were awarded special immigrant visas for the work that Assad did with the United States in Afghanistan. So here's Assad's story.
It is not our differences that divide us, it's our inability to recognize, accept, and celebrate those differences. My name is Assadullah Omer. In short, I am Assad. My life journey started in 1982. 3 years had passed that the Russians had invaded Afghanistan, and my family had to take refuge to a neighboring country, Pakistan. I grew up in Pakistan, finished high school there, and because of the civil war and Taliban government, my family couldn't go back to Afghanistan until 2002. In 2002, when Taliban government was ousted by the United States and international forces, we decided to return to Afghanistan and take part in reconstruction and rebuilding of our country. Life was going so well for a while. I started law school at the Kabul University, and at the same time, I got a full-time job with a nonprofit agency. After I graduated from law school, I started working with the Rule of Law Project for the United States Aid for International Development, USAID, which was funded by the Department of State. I was working as a judicial advisor at the Supreme Court of Afghanistan for 7 years. Life started getting tougher as insurgents started regrouping and gaining more powers. They started targeting those who worked with the United States government in Afghanistan. I had repeatedly facing serious threats, so I thought with myself that luck is a chance, but danger is real. So I applied for a special immigrant visa and came to the United States in January 2013. We were welcomed by the World Relief and received their valuable services, from connecting with community people to applying for us for the government aids. They helped us with leasing our first apartment and paying our first month's rent and utilities from our welcome money. They have provided us an amazing volunteer named Rosemary, rest her soul. She helped us a lot with getting to know the bus system, to shopping and everything. To be honest, if it wasn't for World Relief, I wouldn't be able to stand on my feet so fast. Currently, I work with the Stanislaus County as a quality control analyst and help serve my community. I have always felt proud to be Afghan American altogether. Afghan American, the hyphenation is incredibly important, because this is where I draw my identity. I am not only one or the other, but rather a mix of both. Thank you for listening, and God bless you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Assad, for sharing your powerful story. It's stories like Assad's of why I love my job so much. Good evening, everybody. My name is Sarah Williams, and I've been a caseworker in Modesto for over 7 years. Over the years, I've had the honor and the absolute privilege to welcome refugees into our community. Leaving your home country and coming to a new country with a culture unlike your own is overwhelming and really scary. Our families travel 17, maybe 19 hours before they reach Los Angeles. Once they reach Los Angeles, they're given a small meal and they're put in a van and driven in another 5 hours before they reach Modesto. And keep in mind, they might be doing this with multiple small children. Sometimes they have no idea who's going to meet them when they arrive. Will anybody meet them? Because it might be midnight when they do get here. Will they have another meal? Where will they sleep tonight? So being that staff member or that volunteer who provides that initial contact and that warm welcoming sets the tone for the days to come. Over the first few months, staff members will meet with the families in their new homes to provide orientation of life in America and a little bit about what to expect. And the first few months and even year can bring many ups and downs. But one thing is for sure, our families are resilient. Over the last 5 years, our Afghans have started 5 different markets here in Modesto. They've opened car lots. They've started trucking businesses. They hold both positions at the county and state level. They graduated university. They've received full ride scholarships to college, and many have gone on to become active volunteers with World Relief. While the full credit of these accomplishments falls solely on the refugees themselves, we believe it's the initial support they received from World Relief, staff and volunteers, community members, their teachers, who really empowered them to reach their full potential. But more than what they've accomplished, it's who they are. If you've ever been in contact with any of our families, there's no doubt you've been invited into their home for a warm, freshly cooked meal and a hot cup of tea and engaging conversation. Very quickly, our refugees go from being our clients to becoming our friends. If our office were to suddenly cease to exist, these relationships that have been life-changing may not have been made, and urgent needs wouldn't have been met. So we just want to thank you, donors, for providing the resources, both material resources and financial resources, that have made their first few months in America a success. And we want to thank you, volunteers and church members, teachers, community members, for being that extended family that our new neighbors needed. You've made all the difference.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
We're the Chen family from Modesto. My name's Victor, and I'm a physician who works with a Christian organization called Medical Ambassadors International.
And my name's Christine. I'm also with MAI, and I'm a homeschool mom. And these are our 2 daughters.
Hi, my name is Sayla. Hi, my name is Rina.
We got involved with World Relief Modesto when we moved here about 5 years ago, and we've volunteered in a variety of ways.
Before we moved here, we had been living and working in Afghanistan with a non-government organization serving Afghan communities.
And when we got to Modesto, we were surprised and excited to find out that World Relief was settling refugees from Afghanistan here, and there was already a small growing community of Afghans.
It's been special for us to be able to welcome newly arriving Afghan families as guests in the way we had been so warmly welcomed as guests in Afghanistan. We helped coordinate a Good Neighbor team at our church, Redeemer Modesto, where several families walk alongside and assist a newly arrived refugee family. We also helped encourage and provide cultural orientation for other Good Neighbor teams in the city.
Mom tutors Afghan women in English in their homes, and it's been great to see women feel more comfortable speaking English and interacting with lots of different people around town. And Rina and I come along too with Mom to their homes. A lot of times we get to play with the children, and often we get to have really good food too.
I've really loved spending time with these women and just becoming friends. And another exciting thing that we've been a part of is seeing different sectors of our city come together to welcome these refugees. Modesto Junior College, for example, has a wonderful English learning department, but many refugee women are prevented from attending because they typically need to stay home to care for the children. So when a local church, Centenary Methodist, saw that they could provide space for English classes as well as provide childcare, the junior college provided an instructor and curriculum, and this great community partnership began.
And after a year, the Afghan women themselves ended up covering childcare costs by preparing delicious food for a luncheon fundraiser where over 200 people from the community attended. And none of this would have happened without the Afghan women, the church, and the junior college and World Relief Modesto all working together. It was so cool. We know God wants us to be friends with foreigners and immigrants. That's because he loves them, just like he loves us.
That's right. Jesus loves us so much. And we're not perfect at this, right? There are challenges, and sometimes it can be awkward, and we've made mistakes along the way. But we've also learned again that pursuing relationships is one of the most enriching and important gifts that we're created for.
We're blessed by our Afghan friends, and there's nothing better than being involved in God's kingdom work, trying our best as a family to love God and love our neighbor.
Yay!
Yay!
Yay is right.
Well put.
So precious. So precious. Nothing more needs to be said. She said it all. Yay.
Yeah,
for
she
the
can
work
have this
that's
job.
really done.
I think she'd be better suited.
Seriously. I love that the work we do is not just about providing services, but it's also relational and really about mutual transformation.
Absolutely. What Sarah from the Modesto office said is 100% true.
Right.
Come into contact with any of our families. They are incredibly gracious and hospitable. They invite you into their homes. They really do want to share a meal with you, a cup of tea. They will not take no for an answer.
That's so absolutely true. And we just want to let you know we're getting closer to our goal. We are now upwards of 26,000. And I just want to encourage you that every single dollar counts. And we're so grateful for those of you who are being so generous in giving into this event. It really makes all the difference in the world. And the foundation of being a good neighbor is derived from Jesus' good neighbor story about the Good Samaritan. And watching people, take a moment and seeing the vulnerable on the side of the road and being a difference maker. It's what our world needs most. Our world is so desperate for people like that.
Yes.
And so thank you for continuing to partner with this beautiful ministry.
Thank you. And we also wanted to give you an update. Our artist in residence here, Sandra, show you what she is working on. And just a reminder, those that give 100 or more will be entered into a raffle to receive this beautiful piece.
Yeah, amazing work. That is gorgeous.
And like Eric said, it's being that good Samaritan, and it's really simple tonight to make that gift. The 2 ways at the bottom of your screen, texting belonging to the number below or donating via the website.
Yeah, and one of the more beautiful things about that good neighbor story about the Good Samaritan is that not only did he turn aside and help the vulnerable person the first time, but he put him up in the hotel and he continued to help. He continued to invest until the job was done. So even, I want to encourage you. Would you consider making your gift something that you do consistently? Because every single cent matters, and it's making a difference in so many different lives, like Assad's.
Very true. So before we move to our last story, today has been a historic one. The Supreme Court ruled against the administration's attempt to end the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, what
so
we more
important.
commonly know as DACA.
Yeah, that's a big deal, really big deal.
And yeah, we are celebrating the 800,000 dreamers who, at least for the time being, can remain in the United States, which is the only country they have ever known.
Yeah. And while we celebrate this decision today, it has left the option open for this or future administrations to end the DACA program.
Okay, so while we're grateful for the ruling today, it sounds like there's still more work to be done.
Yeah, lots of work to be done, and we as World Relief, we continue our advocacy efforts to call upon members of Congress to work together on a bipartisan basis to pass the DREAM Act or some similar legislation that would allow our undocumented brothers and sisters brought to the United States as children the opportunity to earn citizenship in the country where they have grown up and where most, if not all, consider to be their home.
And all 3 of our offices have helped our dreamers, more than 2,000 dreamers actually. You can see the numbers on the screen for each office. And even in a time of global pandemic, when we've gone into shelter in place, we've been able to transition our legal services to virtual and still serve hundreds of individuals with DACA renewals. And Eric, as you mentioned, your many hats in Modesto,
Right.
you've helped firsthand with DACA.
Yes, I was blessed with the ability to help out with immigration legal services and to see some of these dreamers come in. And, you know, the paperwork that they're working through, they have to apply every 2 years, and it's a financial burden. It's a financial burden to be able to have to do that consistently, and to be able to provide services in a way that makes it financially feasible to them is so important. It really helps offset those costs.
Not only is it costly, it's not a simple, straightforward process, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You would think it'd be a little bit simpler than it is, but it's not. But even in the process of being able to provide those legal services, it really is walking alongside the dreamers and helping them with their paperwork. It is that, but it's also hearing their personal stories. They get the opportunity to write a personal declaration where they express their hearts. They let the world know that the reason why they want to continue to be here is so that they can be financially independent and continue to provide for their families, to continue to go to school and continue to do those things that are making a difference in their own lives and in the lives of those around them. So reading those and seeing those and being able to experience that, it really is such an important part of World Relief's mission and our values and our goal to really stand with the vulnerable.
Yeah, so cool. Just even another avenue, a way
Right.
to say, I belong, I
Right.
want to be here.
So important, such important work, for sure.
Well, let's go to our last story from World Relief SoCal.
Hi there, I'm Jarrett Barrios, the CEO for the Red Cross in Los Angeles. We do lots of work with immigrants, and so it's a real pleasure to be able to salute World Relief Southern California today. The immigrants who we work to reconnect to their families, people who've been separated by war, World Relief takes and really helps them resettle and begin their new lives here in our amazing state of California. The work of World Relief is transformative. We thank them, we are grateful. And if you are grateful, you can show that in a couple of ways. Volunteer or make a donation. World Relief needs your support. I hope that you'll join me in saluting them and in supporting them. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jose Serrano. I am the Associate Director of Immigration and Outreach here at World Relief Southern California. I am also Department of Justice accredited, which means that I can practice immigration law. This gala has been created just for you, to thank you for your support, your contributions, and your involvement with World Relief. Now more than ever, families need of your support and your contributions. Currently, World Relief provides not only refugee resettlement services, which involve case management, putting houses together for families that have recently arrived and are becoming new Americans, but we also provide immigration legal services. That includes adjustments of status, which means getting their green cards, helping people who are residents become citizens, and ultimately voting and being contributing members of society, as well as providing humanitarian relief services like asylum. In 2018, we established a new initiative here at World Relief Southern California, where one of our priorities is to visit the US-Mexico border and work alongside churches so that we can continue to support the families who are seeking protection. In the last few years, World Relief Southern California has provided lots of services to the asylum-seeking community. Today, we serve more than 20 families in immigration court. That includes unaccompanied children who'd come to the US-Mexico border seeking the protection of the United States. Without your support, we wouldn't be able to restore the dignity, humanity, and simply the life of an immigrant who's seeking protection. Without you, we wouldn't be able to provide the services that we provide to the immigrant community. Thank you. In the past 3 years, we have walked alongside families who have sought or are seeking asylum at the US-Mexico border. Today we're going to have the opportunity to hear from our very own client, Yonequiel Bielma, who fled persecution in Venezuela. In addition to his story or testimony, we're going to hear about how complicated the immigration system is and how World Relief has been able to provide guidance and orientation so that families who are seeking asylum have a better chance at winning a favorable decision regarding their case. Yonequiel, which country did you come from?
¿De qué país vienes?
Yo vengo de Venezuela, estado Mérida.
I come from Venezuela, the state of Mérida.
Why did you flee Venezuela?
¿Por qué te fuiste de Venezuela?
La razón por la que salí de Venezuela por persecución política y mi estadía ahí ya no podía ser aceptada por el gobierno de Venezuela.
I left Venezuela because I was being politically persecuted and it was very unstable for me to stay in Venezuela.
How did you get in contact with World Relief or in touch with World Relief?
¿Cómo escuchaste de la organización World Relief?
En abril del 2019 llegué a la frontera entre México y Estados Unidos en San Isidro.
I arrived at the San Isidro port of entry on April of 2019.
Y me encontré con un grupo el cual se acercó a mí.
I came across a group who approached me.
José Serrano, nuestro amigo, me hizo unas preguntas sobre mi estatus mientras yo estaba averiguando mi número.
Jose approached me and asked me a few questions about my immigration status while I waited for my number.
Y ahí comenzó mi amistad con la organización.
And that's where my friendship with the organization began.
How has World Relief served you and supported you?
¿Cómo te ha ayudado y cómo te ha apoyado la organización?
Me ha ayudado en mi caso invirtiendo mucho tiempo económicamente mientras estaba en detención con llamadas.
They've helped me with my case by investing a lot of time. They've also helped me when I was detained by allowing me and helping me to make phone calls.
Con materiales para pintar, y no solo a mí me han ayudado, ayudan a personas que ni conocen, entonces es muy grande la labor que hacen.
They've also helped me by giving me materials to paint with, and they've also helped people who they don't know.
What other ways has World Relief supported you?
¿De qué otra forma te ha apoyado la organización World Relief?
Me ha orientado para navegar en el sistema tan complicado de migración que existe en los Estados Unidos.
They've given me legal counsel to navigate the complex immigration system that we have.
Y nunca me dejó solo.
And they never left me alone.
Me siento muy contento por eso. Estuvieron a mi lado.
I am very happy because they were always by my side.
What words of encouragement or just words of support and affirmation do you want to say to World Relief's contributors, donors, volunteers?
¿Qué te gustaría decirle a las personas que donan o patrocinan la organización y a todos los voluntarios que ayudan en World Relief?
Bueno, quiero comenzar dándole las gracias de corazón.
I want to start off by saying thank you with all my heart.
Y que al ayudarme a mí, no solo ayudaron a una sola persona, sino ayudaron a mi familia, a mis allegados y a personas que estaban en la detención.
When you helped me, you not only helped me, but you also helped my family, and you also helped other people that were detained as well.
Y es una gran labor que hacen al mundo y a nosotros que lo necesitamos tanto en un camino tan complicado.
And it's great work that they do to help immigrants like myself and this work throughout the world.
And to all of you, I just want to say thank you for your support, your involvement, and the many contributions that you provided World Relief. In a time where many, many, many people find themselves displaced, where people are oppressed, where people are persecuted, your support is changing lives, transforming hearts, and creating better opportunities for families who have left everything behind. And so once again, thank you so much for everything that you've provided World Relief with. We continue to count on you and hope that together we will make a difference in the world. Thank you.
Thank you for attending our California Dreamin' virtual gala. My name is Lauren Trustclair Duncan, and I'm the Southern California Office Director, and this is my dream job. Listening to stories shared by Jose Serrano and Joe Nakiel inspire me and demonstrate how necessary World Relief is and why I'm so proud to be the Office Director in Southern California. Our amazing clients, fantastic staff, and wonderful partners like yourself become members of our World Relief family, and we're so thankful for you. Although this year has been challenging, it has not and will not alter our mission to virtually provide immigration and legal supportive services to those in need with compassion and respect. Helping to achieve their California dream is of utmost importance to us. This year we have ambitious goals, strengthening our growing work at the U.S.-Mexican border, helping to serve more people than ever before. We hope you'll join us in a trip to the border and to see this firsthand for yourself. With your help, we will serve people with big dreams across the border, at the border, and right here in our own communities. We're excited to work together with other offices across the state in new and innovative ways. We'll continue to help you make California a welcoming place for immigrants and refugees in every corner of the state. Thank you for partnering with us and coming to our California Dreaming virtual gala. We couldn't do it without you, our coworkers. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Lauren, and thank you to the SoCal team.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Tonight you have heard 3 stories, and those are just 3 of thousands from a handful of our community partners and our World Relief team.
World Relief, as we said, has been in California for over 40 years, and we want to continue on for 40 plus more. Our services will keep evolving to meet the needs of our new neighbors.
Yeah, definitely. And the core of our mission, it remains the same, even as we evolve, even as our services evolve. It's simple. We want to love refugees and immigrants in our community and help them really feel a sense of belonging.
And we want to keep coming together to share our stories, to listen, and to learn from one another because we believe this experience is transformative.
Yeah, and we invite you to join the story and take the next step with us.
Because everyone has a story. And when you hear a person's story, they move from being a stranger to becoming your neighbor.
That's incredible, right? That's incredible how that works. That's so true. When you know someone, when you're connected, the story is a difference maker. And we'll wrap up these stories with a song by The Brilliants. It's called Old Dreamer, and it was first created to support the work of World Relief with immigrants and refugees.
So cool. We hope the words resonate.
Yeah.
And again, you can take that step to join the World Relief story, help refugees and immigrants in our community. Those 2 easy ways to give on the bottom of your screen. Text belonging to 44321 or giving on worldrelief.org/CA. And yeah,
right,
take a minute, listen to the song, let the stories sink in.
And we'll be right back to wrap up.
Does love have an open door? Welcome, stranger. Give us your tithe and pour. All those in need. Oh, dreamer, teach us to dream again. Oh, children, we wanna see again. Oh, what a beautiful world, what a beautiful world. Come every weary soul, find your haven. Liberty is for all who can breathe free. Oh, dreamer, teach us to see again. Oh, children, we wanna see again.
so beautiful.
So beautiful. Love that song. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you to all of our storytellers.
Yeah, thank you to everyone who has given tonight and who is committing to continue to give. And what you're doing is truly loving your refugee and immigrant neighbors, and we're so grateful. Thank you.
Yes, from our World Relief California to you, again, we just want to say thank you.
It's been an honor spending this evening with you, sharing the stories of what World Relief is doing in California.
And while each of our offices has a slightly different focus, depending on the specific needs of the community,
Our mission remains the same.
And we'd love for you to join us in that mission
of welcoming the vulnerable
on their journey to belonging. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you and 감사합니다.
Zor spas. Mamnoon.
Thank you and gracias.
Obrigada.
Thank you. Salamat po.
Tashakor.
Thank you and merci.
Thank you and mahalo.
Спасибо вам большое.
Thank you. Shukran.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
تشکر از توجهتان.
Does love have an open door? Welcome, stranger. Give us your tired and poor. All those in need. Oh, dreamer, teach us to dream again. Oh, children, we wanna see again. Oh, what a beautiful world, what a beautiful world. Come every weary soul, find your haven, live